Why did the thumbnail to this video have a can of Whiskey WD40 on it? Well, let me tell you why. This Browning Double Auto is one of those ones that was languishing in the back of a gun store here in South Carolina because nobody could see through 50 years of patina, dirt, call it what you want to call it. It was totally bone dry, and I'll bet you it didn't run because this thing had so much dry put on it that it didn't know what oil was. Okay, so it had sugar rust up here on the barrel, and it had a lot of schmutzing down here on an aluminum receiver. Fabulous piece of equipment. Let me show you something and show you the one place in a gun shop that WD-40 is actually in its element. WD-40, when it comes to shotguns and really light rust, WD-40 creates a lot of divisiveness in the firearms industry. Some swear by this stuff, other people swear at it. I'm kind of on both sides of it. WD-40 was never designed to be a lubricant, but I don't know if you can see here. There's a lot of sugar rust on this Browning Double Auto barrel. And we're going to put some WD-40 on this and use this to remove very light rust. Don't go after anything big. Don't go after anything that has pitted. But what I'm going to tell you is there's like a brown slush that's forming on the top of this barrel. Out here on the muzzle, same deal. We put a little bit of Whiskey WD-40 out here. And I'm telling you, I'm going to do it right over here by the microphone. See, there's nothing there, but if I come around where the rust is, you can hear it. Hear it? And it actually does a serviceable job of removing really light rust when you don't want to fire up a complete tank. I mean, I don't know if you can see this orange gack that's all over this barrel right here is because I'm taking it off. Now this double auto that we have hasn't seen the south side of an Earl can in forever. So, right there, you can see how it's orange. Now watch this. Now, those little white pops in there were going to be there, whether we converted it or not. But this is good at stopping rust. Now, if you're going to blue a gun, don't get WD-40 anywhere near it when it's in the white. When it's blue like this, you can get rid of it. You can get away with it. So what we're going to do is finish oiling this gun down. The inside of the chamber is nasty here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You see all that crap that came out of my pinky there? So we'll have to go in there and scrub this gun down and get all that garbage out of it. But once we do that, we're going to take this thing outside after we get some oil in this gun. It hasn't been oiled in forever. You don't want to run them dry, but this is an aluminum receiver, 12 gauge Browning Double Auto, and I've never been in a room with one of these things. It's worth saving. This Double Auto was really light, and so you see here we're just taking that dirt off of there without ruining the finish on the receiver. But this thing, you see here how it's just light. I'm not pushing very hard. This is 4/0 steel wool. And it does have a use in the gun shop. And I have a couple of cans of it laying around. It's also really good when you're cutting aluminum on a bandsaw. All right. We're going to oil the inside of this gun down pretty aggressively and then take it outside and shoot it. Eventually, we'll probably wind up redoing the wood on this gun. Eventually, we'll do it. Fabulous piece of equipment. I don't know. Let's take it outside and shoot it, shall we? I should have my shooting pouch here because ordinarily you would be operating this gun out of a shooting pouch. And you start out with the bolt open. Now, this is an unfamiliar gun with an unfamiliar operating system. I'm not entirely positive how the manual of arms on this gun works, but I'm going to try to take us through it here. So if I'm not wrong, You slide around in here and you push with your thumb, and it takes that in there. I now have a live round in the chamber with the safety off, so I gotta watch where the heck I got it pointed. And then you go back down into your pouch, you'd pull out another round and you stick it right in there like that. And that's what I think happens. It throws the round out, and now we got a live one in the chamber. You would then just reach in. So on a skeet range, you would have pull, pull. Then the gun would be empty, and you'd come back with 2 more rounds. 1, shove it in with your finger. 2, lay it here, shove it in, and then it would be a double. Pull. Really light gun. This thing could probably weigh, maybe at tops, 6 pounds. Aluminum receiver, really lightweight. And you go, why go through all of the pain in the neck of all the automatics? Well, you have 1 fewer barrels. You have a lot less, there's a lot less weight. This receiver's aluminum, so this gun balances right here, but the half weights are here and here. This is a very handy gun, easy to swing. This thing would be amazing on a skeet range. And when Bruno gets done letting me refinish it, we'll carry it out there and possibly run some skeet through it. But an amazing thing, we proved that a little bit of WD-40 will take all that sugar rust off, but only if it's a very light coating of rust. If it's starting to attack, you gotta boil it, man. I'm telling you. In 12 gauge, I can imagine after a round of skeet, this thing would get a little testy on the old shoulder. I don't know. I've also heard an alternate opinion that there was a time when they were talking about taking the migratory bird limit to 2 rounds, and that this had been built on spec. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. I know all the write-ups in the 1950s touted this as being a very light gun that could be handled by the ladies out on a skeet range, and that's kind of where they were going with it. Ejection is outstanding. It ran everything perfect, and I'm gonna tell you, I have never held one of these things in my life, and it was a pleasure to do so. Okay, we'll tear this thing apart, totally clean it. I mean, I oiled it, just hosed it down with oil. Not WD-40, by the way. I used an actual gun lubricant, and we got it all wet again, and it ran great. And we got to go back in and take all this rust off of everything. But other than that, though, it's a beautiful piece of kit. And if you ever run into one, I'd think about it if you're a serious skeet shooter, because they ain't making them anymore. That's for sure. And as always, it's been a pleasure.